H2S hull hiccup has hobbyists wondering, swollen surfaces and soft sides, and I was wrong. All this and more, PrintFix Friday, episode 232. Let's get into it. Starting off, I was wrong. Last week, literally just last week, we talked about this Core 1 singing. Your printer's literally whistling because of the air running through the gyroid infill. You can sit there and go crazy because it's not consistent, it doesn't line up with anything that makes sense, and your first thought isn't the fan that's hiding behind the printer pushing air into the infill that is creating a whistling noise. But see, I wasn't right. And the original poster of this actually found the video, saying they happened upon it as a YouTube short, got a real kick out of us picking it up. The flute sections on Reddit were amazing, and they thought, the folks that had it, it's what I would have thought. However, once the top layers, well, 3 layers, so I was sure it was sealed, filled in, the whistling continued. I've not done any major prints since, but certainly plan to loop anything I can find, including the swing arm. Yeah, that would have been my next suggestion. As odd as it is, the freaking swing arm on those Core 1s and Core 1Ls squeak a lot. We have to lubricate ours once every couple hundred hours. Likely I should look at using something more like a lithium grease or maybe even the Prusa Super Lube, but right now just use a dab of the old sewing machine oil and it quiets it right down. I'm still totally confused though. Again, I want to listen to this one again together because it's not often that we get something wrong. It's even less often that we get it this wrong. Let's... together. No. Dude, it has to be the whistling. It has to be. It could be a bearing, I guess, but could something be in the fan shroud? Could the fan shroud itself be whistling? Like, a bearing doesn't make sense to me. Like, sure, go ahead, lubricate the printer. That's not a bad move, right? I'm not buying it, though. I'm not buying that it's not somehow whistling, whether it's the infill or from the fan shroud. Something is whistling, because bearings don't make that noise unless they're really, really dead. I'm going to be working with the end user on this one. Since they found the video anyways, we might as well work with them. And hey, that's your kind of thing, leave a like, get subscribed, and what else could it be? Infill whistle makes the most sense! I would bet money on it, man. I would bet money it's whistling from somewhere. I just don't know where, and I just don't know why. I just know that it's occurring. It's in my head. It's all in my head, I think. Anyways, my name's Grant, this is 3D Musketeers and PrintFixFriday, where we help you get your printers back to printing with purpose. If you have any issues, reach out to us on all the social medias, although our favorite way, film a video, tag us in it, and we'll get a notification on YouTube so we can take a look at your problems and see how we can fix them. An individual here with a Bambu H2S. This is their first print on it, and you know what? This is an interesting one for me because it's not a really bad benchy, but it's a bad benchy for a Bambu. Look at this under extrusion at the end of our lines, like our pressure advance values just aren't set correctly, right? It doesn't look right. And then look at those layer lines. Something's not right there. And a benchy hull line on a Bambu, like none of this makes sense to me. I am used to, especially the newer Bambu machines, being as close to click print go as you're ever gonna get. And this just doesn't scream Bambu quality to me. I wonder if the layer height's just not right on this. Let's see what kind of settings that we got available to us, right? Brand new machine. They just did the initial calibrations, updated firmware, opened a brand new roll of Bambu PLA, and they clicked go. And while, yes, the benchy hull line is a normal defect, it's not one that we often get off of Bambu printers. I'm assuming this is going to be the stock G-code that came with the machine. And like, even on my X1 Carbon, that G-code is damn near perfect, right? Like, it has been fine-tuned perfectly. But this is also a case where having a material that isn't translucent really picks up on some of these errors. And if we look here at the seam doesn't look all that good either. Again, for a Bambu printer, I kind of expect better. First layer is a little close, but I'm not going to discount that. I think it's fine. But we see even drooping here on that second layer where it's the CT3D.XYZ. And that tells me that maybe we're running a little too hot there. But that doesn't answer any of these issues with infill and walls not overlapping enough, right? It's almost as though our pressure advance is simply just not right. But given that it's an H2S, like this is Bambu's flagship single nozzle 3D printer right now. Yeah, maybe they sliced it for the wrong layer height, right? And maybe that's what we're seeing here, that it's like a 0.4 millimeter layer height for a 0.4 millimeter nozzle, but I would hedge a bet that this is the stock G-code on the machine, right? Because they come with it. Why run something that isn't that? And it's a Bambu. It should know what filament is going into it, especially when it's Bambu filament. The machine with the AMS tells you, hey, this is what's in it, and it knows how to run it. What I would like to see done is to completely reslice the Benchy. Go into Orca Slicer. Please don't use Bambu Studio. It's not worth it, in my opinion. Just use Orca, slice out a Benchy with the stock settings for Bambu PLA, and then reprint it. 0.2 millimeter layer height, leave everything stock, and just go and print it. I want to see what it looks like. This is a weird thing, and we've talked about this before on our X1 Carbon. If it doesn't do a scan properly, you end up with bad PA values. You end up with bad values because it's been, well, given bad data or scanned bad data. And that results in like your PA values not being set properly and things like that. The H2S, you might just be able to hit reprint and see if that solves it, because, you know, it's the side to side where it doesn't look right. The forward and backward, it's much better than the side to side. Y'all let me know down in those comments, because not only have I been wrong in an episode, I've also been stumped. Next up, top layer finish and bendy walls. It's a Bambu A1 JOPLA high speed, which they've used for a while, so it shouldn't be a problem. 0.2 standard setting, 50 millimeter second initial layer, 200 millimeter second other layers, standard cooling, 220C on the nozzle, 60C on the bed, all really good. We got that top issue. That's from warping, guaranteed. So it looks like it's over extruding. If you only see over extruding, especially in the corners, I got a little bit over there, got a little bit over there, it's because as the part is going back and forth, right? In A1 is a bed slinger, so it's moving back and forth. You are convection cooling those layers, and they have a tendency to pull up a little bit. It doesn't have to be a lot of it for that to happen, and it obviously happened toward the end of the print. If it happened toward the middle of the print, you would actually see layers that look a little bit thicker. If the warping is not that bad, get a palm sander and just sand it down and the problems are gone. Obviously, to solve it, we want to look at reducing the overall contact patch on the bed. The larger your contact patch is, when it shrinks, the higher chance it has to warp. We can see some other areas of over extruding. I think it's going to be just related to the warping that we see that caused it here. But they've also got some issues here where the perimeters and the wall don't touch. Oh, this is a funny one too. So I was just talking about how you want to reduce your surface contact. They've done that, but they have so little surface contact that it has a higher chance of warping up. On a part like this, if you like it, then you should put a brim on it. Anyways, you're also using tree support or organic support. Not the right support to be using in a model like this. You have nice... God, you're telling me that all of this was supported? Dude, your support settings are freaking down. I normally don't recommend to do tree supports for something like this. They take way too long. Snug supports, way more better. But if it's working this freaking good, don't touch it. Just don't touch it. The reason that we don't have our walls connecting to our top layers is likely because of the warp. As the part warped, it had to go somewhere, so it bent in a little bit. Since the walls are so thin, they'll have a tendency to flex a bit. If you do want to solve this, there's some easier ways to handle it. Let's say you're trying to reduce the amount of material that you use. You can use something like support cubic or even a low percentage adaptive cubic, like 10% or even as low as 5 or 7% adaptive cubic, and make it solid. You will have a better first layer contact. If you need this hollow area like you have, you can do this in a couple of pieces if that's easier. Yes, you'll have some seams, but I think those seams are easier to deal with than simply trying to make sure it doesn't warp. Yes, brims, mouse ears, things like that can solve this, but we're also printing with an A1 on the floor, I might add, in the open air. I don't care what material you're printing out of, when they are this big, you're gonna have some potential issues here. But yeah, definitely let's add some adhesion promoters to the corners for sure. But I would look at just doing a whole brim all the way around. It will likely be easier. Again, cutting this up will solve the problem as well. A little bit of Bondo spot putty, or a little bit of drywall spackle, some sanding and painting. You'll never even know that you did it that way. Next up, we got a part that is missing layers. So this is a video game file, the service rival from Fallout New Vegas, and they're having some weird issues in the slicer. One, it's Elegoo Slicer. Stop that. Just go get Orca. Stop using anything other than Orca Slicer. Unless you're using Prusa printers, then just use Prusa Slicer. Otherwise, use Orca. This is quintessential of video game files, ladies and gentlemen. They don't have to be perfect, as long as they look pretty in the game. Something that we've learned over the years of getting requests to print video game files and even having on staff people from the Ringling College of Art and Design who work in video games. They all say the same thing. You can't have crazy high poly models in a video game and you just have the texture deal with it because you are limited to how much data you can physically have. This is a quintessential thing that we see from video game models. It's broken. It's got a lot of damage to it. A couple of things though. One, hit the letter C for cookie. And that's just good enough for me.
C is for cookie. That's good enough for me.
It will remove this thing that none of you have ever functionally cared about. Just hit the C key. This goes away and it never comes back until you hit the C key again. You're welcome. And if you didn't know that, leave a like. Get subscribed. We do all these weird little tips and tricks in PrintFixFriday, so you're missing out if you're not watching. You can try a couple of things. You can try running it through the built-in tools to clean up the models and all of that. It might work, it might not. The top commenter's actually bringing up something that we used to do back in the day. You can adjust infill and wall perimeters. It's something that we used to have to do back in the day before you were able to just fix a file in the slicer. Your slicer has the ability to fix broken files. Use it. It is not a requirement, to say the least. You don't have to do it. You can go into Blender, you can go into ZBrush, you can go into a multitude of different programs to clean the file. But the Windows repair algorithm seems to do more than fine. But note, this might not be repairable. You are dealing with a fair bit of this file missing. So there's a lot of damage to the file itself. The fact that it even sliced and isn't giving you a warning is something that's curious to me. We do expect to see a warning if there are major issues with the file, and I feel like the slicer should be able to see that. Run it through the repair algorithm, see if that fixes it. If not, let's look for different files. I know that that's not the perfect solution here, right? And there isn't gonna be one unless you have the skills to remake the model yourself. But this is likely the raw model ripped from the video game. And that's why it looks the way that it does. Last but not least, one that hurts. Fresh roll of PCCF fell apart on the holder. They already spent an hour trying to wrangle it into a new spool, but it's kind of hard when it snaps when you look at it wrong. Which genius decided pressure fitting plastic onto cardboard spools was the move? Yeah, somebody didn't read the instructions for drying Prusa spools. If you're going to put Prusa spools in dryers, the old cardboard ones, not the new NFC ones, but the old cardboard ones, if you're going to do that, you have to put bolts through them. You got a few options. You could admit defeat and move on and say you wasted 65 bucks. You can try to respool it. I would sit there and just keep trying. That's a lot of money. But I feel like Prusa kind of missed the mark on that one with those older spools and not having something on the box or something obvious that says, hey, by the way, if you're going to put this in a dryer, you might want to screw it together. It's great filament. I love Prusa, but it's a missed mark. It's happened to us too. We've got a 2-kilo roll where one of the caps is loose, and I'm like, oh, I gotta be really careful when printing this stuff. I currently have a long bolt going through them, and that's the only way they're gonna stay together. And if those fall apart, oh my God, yeah, no, I can certainly understand the F it, it's not worth my time. And it sucks because it's expensive material. Yes, you could print a respooler. Yes, you could do that kind of stuff. It looks like at least this area is mostly okay. Looks like you have some of it that's good there. That area could be a bit of a write-off. You could get to a point where some of it gets easier, but I totally understand that it might just not be worth your time, and I'm not gonna fault you for it. So how do you stop this from happening? On the old cardboard spools from Prusa, where they have the cardboard tube in the middle, bolts. You have to bolt the spool together. It's dumb. It's what you have to do. They've, in theory, solved it with these new NFC spools, but I'm not all that happy with the refills only being 900 grams. It's like, guys, come on. You can afford to give us the full kilo. Give us the full kilo. Speaking of the full kilo, I know you've seen this. Don't worry, Badge 502 is not around. He doesn't need to know about this. It's just between you and me. This is a part that I can share with you from our HT90. We are doing a 90-day challenge to pay off the HT90. We are almost a month into it. This is pure nylon. This is PA6 nylon. It didn't warp at all. In fact, the supports were okay to get off of the part. Only had a couple little areas where it wasn't perfect, but honestly, for a machine that is a single tool head in pure nylon, this came out really nice. So we do have Peak, PEC, Ultem. We've got all the high temp materials to fulfill all your high temp needs. We are offering discounts if you let us film what we're printing on it. So if you do want to get prints done on the Prusa HT90 and help us get the entire value of the machine in prints within the first 90 days, to kind of show that in theory, if you market it correctly, you can pay off an HT90 within 3 months. I'd love to get your help on it. Huge thank you to those names listed right next to me at the $5 tier and higher, because they make videos like this possible. And they knew all about this, and there have been names for this in the Discord. They won't be repeated, and that's available at the $10 tier and higher, if that is so your jam. That is all we have for you all today. Stay safe out there. Don't forget to call your loved ones, and hey, don't forget to leave a like and get subscribed if you haven't. And as always, keep making awesome. Have a good one. All right, I'm sorry, Mrs. Beans. Yes, hi, look, it's the cat. Okay, but she needs to go now, because I'm like 3 minutes away from being done with this video. Then we can hang out.